Here, I'll introduce the transportation problem. Let's say there are a few supply points. Suppose 1, 2, 3 supply points, and there are a few demand points. Let's suppose 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we say that there are 3 supply points and 4 demand points. This could be like, suppose the supply points could be a factory and demand points could be a warehouse. Or you can have the supply points are wholesalers and the demand points are retailers, and so on and so forth. So supply points are essentially locations where a single commodity is available in different quantities. So when we talk about transportation problem, we essentially look at a single commodity. So let's suppose quantity available at supply point 1 is A1, similarly at location 2 is A2, and location 3 is A3. And let's suppose the demand at point 1 is B1, demand at 2 is B2, demand at 3 is B3, and demand at 4 is B4. Now this commodity can be supplied from location 1 to any of these locations, from location 2 to any of these locations, and location 3 to any of these locations. Now suppose the commodity is to be transported from supply point 1 to demand point 3. Then in doing so, there is going to be some cost which will be involved. So this cost is denoted with letter C and then suffix 13. This is the cost of transporting a unit quantity from supply point 1 to demand point 3. Similarly, you can transport some quantities from supply point 3 to a demand point 2. Then this cost will be C32, which is the cost of transporting a unit quantity from supply point 3 to demand point 2. So likewise, you can have a network where you can supply different quantities from these points to these points. And the objective of the transportation problem is to determine what quantities should be supplied from each supply point to each demand point such that the total transportation cost is minimum. Now usually, a transportation problem is approached with a tabular form or a matrix form. So let's look at that now. This is how a transportation problem would look in a matrix form. Here, the indices which are highlighted in yellow are the supply points and the demand points. So these are also called as sources, origins, etc. And the demand points can also be called as requirement points or destinations. Now the quantities that are highlighted in green, so this A1, A2, A3, etc. are nothing but the capacities in which the sources 1, 2, 3 can supply, and these B1, B2, B3, B4 are the capacities in which these 1, 2, 3, 4 demand points are having their demands. Now in this matrix, we indicate the cost for transporting a unit quantity from one supply point to a destination point. So for example, C12 is the cost of transporting a unit quantity from source 1 to destination 2. Similarly, C24 is the cost of transporting a unit quantity from source 2 to destination 4. So likewise, the other costs are also mentioned in this matrix. This is the form in which the transportation problem is conveniently represented. Now once all these costs and the capacities are known to us, our aim is to find out what quantities should be supplied from each source to each destination. So let's suppose we decide that we are going to supply some quantities from source 1 to destination 2. Then that is indicated as X12. So X12 is a quantity that will be supplied from source 1 to destination 2. Similarly, if we decide to transport some quantities from source 2 to destination 4, then this will be X24. That quantity will be X24. Then if we decide to transport some quantities from source 3 to destination 2, then that will be X32. And so in general, we end up with all these quantities which are to be transported from different sources to different destinations. So the things that are mentioned in white color are given for a transportation problem, whereas the yellow ones are the ones to be found out. So we need to find out X11, X12, etc. so that the total cost of transportation is minimized. So let's now look at the formulation of this transportation problem. We have Xij is a quantity that is transported from source I to destination j. Cij is the cost of transporting unit quantity from source I to destination j. And so the aim is to minimize Z, which is the total transportation cost, which will be given by, so it will be the cost of transporting x11 quantities from source 1 to destination 1 will be C11 into x11. So we have C11 x11. Similarly, the cost of transporting x12 quantity from source 1 to destination 2 will be C12 x12. And then we'll have C13 x13. And all of these will be added to find out the total transportation cost. And so this will be C14 x14 plus C21 x21. So this is the objective function, minimize the total transportation cost, which will be given by this. Now there are some constraints on this. There will be constraints for sources. So if we talk about source 1 over here, the capacity in which it can supply is A1. So we have to ensure that the total of x11, x12, x13 and x14 does not exceed this quantity A1. So that is a constraint. x11 plus x12 plus x13 plus x14 should be less than or equal to A1. So you cannot supply more than what is the available capacity. Similarly, for source 2, you will have x21 plus x22 plus x23 plus x24 should be less than or equal to A2. And for source 3, it will be x31 plus x32 plus x33 plus x34 should be less than or equal to A3. And similarly, we will have constraints for destinations. So you want that the demand at destination 1, that is B1, should be met. So we have to ensure that x11 plus x21 plus x31 is at least equal to B1. And so we will have x11 plus x21 plus x31 should be greater than or equal to B1. Similarly, for destination 2, we will have x12 plus x22 plus x32 should be greater than or equal to B2. For destination 3, x13 plus x23 plus x33 should be greater than or equal to B3. And for destination 4, x14 plus x24 plus x34 should be greater than or equal to B4. So these are the constraints for destinations. We cannot send lesser quantities than what is the requirement at a particular destination. And finally, we will have a non-negativity constraint. Since you cannot transport a negative quantity from any source to any destination, we have xij should be greater than or equal to 0. It can be 0, but it cannot be negative. So that is the formulation of a transportation problem, and it is a linear programming problem as the objective function as well as all the constraints are linear. So we have to minimize the total transportation cost, which is given by this, subject to constraints which are for sources that are listed over here. There are constraints for destinations that are listed over here, and then there is a non-negativity constraint. So this formulation is for a specific case where we saw 3 supply points and 4 demand points. Now let's look at a general case of this. So a general transportation problem would have m supply points and n demand points or n destinations, and the cost associated with transporting a unit quantity from each source to each destination is given in this matrix. So for example, cost C32 is nothing but the cost of transporting a unit quantity from source 3 to destination 2. And once again, we are interested in finding out what should be the quantities that are transported from each source to each destination, which are nothing but xij. So these are the quantities in yellow which we have to find out. So now let's look at the formulation of a general transportation problem. So as we discussed earlier, xij is the quantity that will be transported from source I to destination j. Cij is the cost of transporting a unit quantity from source I to destination j. Ai is the capacity at source I. Bj is the demand at destination j. So the objective will be to minimize the total transportation cost, which will be given by double summation of Cij xij, I going from 1 to m and j going from 1 to n. So we have taken m sources and n destinations. So I will go from 1 to m and j will go from 1 to n. And the constraints will be, for any source, the constraint will be you cannot supply more than the capacity. So summation of xij should be less than or equal to ai for all I equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 up to m, and j will go from 1 to n. For any destination, you have to supply more than what is the requirement. So the constraint will be summation of xij should be more than or equal to bj for all j going from 1 to n and I going from 1 to n. And there will be a non-negativity constraint, which is xij has to be greater than or equal to 0. So this is how the transportation problem is formulated when you have m sources and n destinations. Now, if the total capacity of all the sources taken together is equal to the total demand of all the destinations taken together, then we end up with a balanced transportation problem. That is, for a balanced transportation problem, we have summation of ai will be equal to summation of bj, I going from 1 to m, j going from 1 to n. This is nothing but the total capacity of all the sources taken together is equal to the total demand of all the destinations taken together. If we have this condition satisfied, then it is a balanced transportation problem. And in case of a balanced transportation problem, every source will supply exactly what is available with it, and every destination will get exactly what its requirement is. So these inequalities get converted to equations when you look at a balanced transportation problem. So for a balanced transportation problem, the objective function remains the same, that is minimize z, which is this double summation, and the constraints would now look like this. The source and destination constraints are equations in case of a balanced transportation problem. So this is how a formulation of a balanced transportation problem looks. Now since we are dealing with equations over here, it is relatively easier to solve a balanced transportation problem. So even in case of an unbalanced transportation problem like this, where the total of all the source capacities is not equal to the total of all the destination requirements, we convert it into a balanced transportation problem by adding a dummy row or a dummy column. You may understand this better when you look at an example. For now, this is how a formulation of a transportation problem which is unbalanced would look, and when the transportation problem is balanced, this is how the formulation looks.